Thanks, Microsoft Code, for sending me that video on Stephen Hawking's and black holes. Black holes are kind of something that's really interests me. And like, I am kind of against Stephen Hawking's, mostly because some of the answers are right in front of his nose and he can't see them yet. And um, I fully understand how you may perceive that I don't get it, that I'm not understanding science. And it's, like I say, it's just the terminology. But when you can look at something from a completely different perspective, you can see a different picture. And black holes, okay, they've seen that this is happening in the universal world, and Stephen Hawking has made the connection of how it's happening in our quantum world. But it's, for me, science, I have to understand it, that what does it mean for me? What does all of this information really have to do with me and my life, and how can I benefit from any aspect of this? And while they're studying black holes and they're seeing that it's taking, I don't know the terminology, they were saying there's two particles, or subatomic particles, that split off, appear, and then they join back together and explode. These are like potentials. These are things, I think they would be called like antimatter, things that you don't really see, but they have a potential to come into reality depending on the observer and what the observer is creating, because we're creators. We're creating stuff out of these subatomic particles through our observation, through our belief systems. I mean, there's a whole pile of different ways that we're creating, but these are what we use to create, is these things that split off, they are something, and then they go back together. Now it seems like they come back more to life whenever there's a black hole around, because the splitting of the two seems to last longer. There's one that's getting the radiation, the positive is being repelled, while the negative is being sucked into what we're perceiving as this big massive hole. But it's like, look at it as a problem. Every single problem that we experience, that's how I'm relating to it in my world, is there is a black hole that is everywhere in my experience. And the way I can recognize a black hole is by the problem, because it's going to be the problem, it's going to be the negative energy, it's going to be the negative half of something. That, what does it do? It creates a whole pile of potential. It creates light, the radiation, so you can see what's left, which is the solution. So there's always going to be the problem, which is going to be somewhat reflected off of the black hole onto the positive aspect, I guess, of that particle. You'll see what's there, um, by what's not being sucked out. It's like, have you ever seen a bed of nails, and it is somewhat like a toy thing, but there are all of these nails that sit up, and if you put your face into it, it makes the facial outline. It's sort of like a cool way. You can put your whole hand imprint in these nails, and so the negative um, sort of particle of your handprint gets pushed in, but you get to see what it is by everything, all of the positive that's left out. And that's part of what frustrates me with Stephen Hawking's, is he keeps saying we need to discover outer space, when I think the goal should be we need to discover inner space. And if he understands what a black hole is from the universal world and the quantum world, then he's got to see that his own illness is a problem that he has the potential to cure, but he doesn't want to face that problem. And that is the challenge with humanity, is we don't want to face all of these black holes, but they're going to get bigger and bigger. It'll be universal. So because we act as one, eventually all of us collectively have to sort of look at this big universal problem, and the negative aspects of ourselves are going to be drawn into this, but the positive aspects of ourselves will sort of get the lesson. Um, and these big, strong minds like Stephen Hawking's, for him to identify, you know, a universal meaning and a quantum, and not see how it relates to his own personal life. It's like, yeah, read a book on science, but read everybody's books on science, because then you can kind of put the puzzle together. And not like I can come across and teach anybody science. I'm not going to be book smart and remember all of the terminology. All I have to do is understand a little bit about it and have an inquisitive mind and ask a lot of questions. And when you ask a lot of questions, you get a lot of answers and you can get a different perspective. But um, I have come to a point where I have nothing to lose, that I don't really care how I come across. I don't care if I sound professional enough or scientific enough to trust in myself to ask a good question. That some of these guys that are the most brilliant guys on the planet that know how to talk real good are kind of, you know, the world ain't working. So if there's such brains, how come the world isn't working? What are they lacking? Maybe it's some of us down at the bottom that may not understand it as perfectly as they do, but we got some questions. It's like, if you understand all of this science, how does that relate to me, and how can I benefit from it, and how can I help shift the world into some solutions? I'll put a link under so you can see the same video that I've seen. It is Stephen Hawking's and what black holes are, and at the very end of the video it does say that a black hole offers an awful lot of opportunity. It spits out solutions. It's, you know, it's something that we're really, really deathly scared of. It's like, that's the evil, that's our problem. Everything that we suffer from is there. It's going to suck us in, but you have to understand that without a doubt, this science proves that for every problem there is a solution. As soon as humanity wakes up to the reality that it's impossible to have a problem without having a solution, then at least we know we have something to head for. But to always be focused on the doom and gloom and not see that there's another aspect to reality prevents us from even looking. So I can appear real dumb scientifically, but I don't think that, you know, where is that observation wrong in science? Has this black hole theory not confirmed a reality that there is a solution to every problem? And then kind of look at the problems and okay, where are some other sciences that kind of prove, yeah, this is how you can actually solve every illness? Stephen Hawking has an illness. That's the one thing that pisses me off. He's got a black hole that he don't want to face. And if you do some interviews, look at some interviews Stephen Hawking does. Um, he's sort of grateful for his illness because he doesn't have to do anything. He gets everybody else to do the work, and this allows his mind to think 24/7, because he really is addicted to his own mind. But he doesn't know the power of his own mind can actually make himself do, you know, jump off that chair and do some work himself. But that is our own insanity. We all got that going on inside of us. So he is human after all, no matter how smart he is. He's just the same as the rest of us. Peace out.